Hello, nonfiction and STEM fans. This is Kirsten Larson. I'm the author of Woodwire Wings and the forthcoming A True Wonder, the comic book hero who changed everything, illustrated by Katie Wu. That comes out in September. Today, I am reviewing this very moving and I think much needed book called Unspeakable, the Tulsa Race Massacre. This is by Carole Boston Weatherford, and it is illustrated by Floyd Cooper. So this is about a race event that took place in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921 when a white mob of Tulsans essentially destroyed what was then known as Black Wall Street in the town of Greenwood. So I think Carole Boston Weatherford has taken a really interesting approach on this book, and I think it's a really important way of handling the information. So she uses the repeated phrase, once upon a time. So the book starts, once upon a time near Tulsa, Oklahoma, prospectors struck it rich in the oil fields. The wealth created jobs, raised buildings, and attracted newcomers from far and wide seeking fortune and a fresh start. And then she talks about how the Black community grew there. And one thing I think is really interesting is she spends a lot of time detailing this town. The 1 mile stretch of Greenwood Avenue, which essentially became the Negro Wall Street of America. She details the restaurants, the grocery stores, the barber shops, the schools where some people said kids got a better education than the white kids did. She details the 2 newspapers, the doctor who was one of the most acclaimed in the nation. She goes into the really nitty-gritty detail about the affluence of this Black community, because it's important background for understanding the event that kicked off this entire race massacre. So that happens here on this spread when you have a 19-year-old Black youth who accidentally steps on the foot of the white elevator operator, and everybody jumps to conclusions that he has attacked her. And he's arrested. And then there is a lot of racism and miscommunication that leads to this entire thing. So essentially the white-owned newspaper, the Tulsa Tribune, tells people in the community to go and nab this kid. And so Black people come out to protect him. And the whole thing explodes into one of the biggest race massacres in American history. So one thing I think is so important is showing how these things happen and how the context of a community can lead to people to jump to conclusions about other people, and then how the flames of racism get fanned. So this, I think, is a really important read, a really well-written story for understanding exactly what happened. And then I really do appreciate that Carole Boston Weatherford spent so much time talking about her family's own experience with this kind of racism and having businesses destroyed and that sort of thing. So this I think is a really fantastic book, and I hope that you will add it to your school and library collections.